It was supposed to be an ordinary day in music class, but what happened that morning would shake the entire school. When the new student, Amara, walked in holding her old violin case, the teacher's eyes narrowed. Whispers filled the room, some curious, some cruel. Mrs. Clarkson, the strict and prideful music instructor, looked at Amara with a forced smile and said, "Oh, you brought your own violin. How cute." The class laughed. Amara stayed quiet, gripping her violin tighter. She had been through this before, people judging her before hearing her play. What no one knew was that Amara wasn't just good. She was extraordinary. Her late father had taught her to play when she was 5, and the violin had become her voice, one that could move hearts and heal wounds. But this time, she wasn't sure she wanted to share it with anyone here. Until that one humiliating request would change everything. A week later, the class was preparing for a talent showcase. Mrs. Clarkson, eager to impress the judges, was assigning parts. When she reached Amara, she smirked. "Let's have Amara play something for us today. Let's see if she can keep up." The room fell silent. It wasn't an invitation, it was a setup. Amara hesitated, feeling dozens of eyes on her. "I'd rather not today," she whispered. But the teacher's tone turned sharp. "Come on now, don't be shy. Play us something simple." The student snickered, expecting her to stumble. Amara's heart raced, her palms sweaty. She lifted her violin, tuning it with trembling fingers. The teacher crossed her arms, waiting for the moment to humiliate her. What Mrs. Clarkson didn't know was that the moment Amara drew her bow across the strings, everything would change, and no one in that room would ever see her the same again. The first note pierced through the silence, soft, trembling, but pure. Then came the melody. The class froze. Every stroke of Amara's bow told a story, every vibration carried emotion. The giggles faded. Even Mrs. Clarkson's smirk disappeared. The walls of the classroom seemed to fade as the music lifted everyone somewhere else, a place of memories and feelings too deep for words. When Amara finished, no one spoke. The last note hung in the air like a heartbeat. Then, applause erupted. For the first time, Amara smiled. But Mrs. Clarkson didn't clap. Her pride couldn't allow it. "That was nice," she said coldly. "But let's not get carried away. This isn't a concert." The class looked at her, confused. How could someone hear such beauty and respond with such bitterness? Amara didn't argue. She just lowered her head, knowing this wasn't the end. Something inside her told her, it was only the beginning. The next day, Mrs. Clarkson made a shocking decision: Amara wouldn't be part of the showcase. "We already have enough violinists," she announced. The class murmured in protest. Even students who once laughed at Amara spoke up for her. But the teacher refused to listen. Amara quietly packed her violin, hiding her disappointment. At home, her mother saw her tear-streaked face and asked what was wrong. Amara tried to stay strong, but her voice cracked as she said, "She didn't even want me to play." Her mother took her hands gently. "Then you play for yourself, not for her." That night, Amara stood by her window, playing softly under the moonlight, a melody for her father, for her mother, and for every time someone tried to silence her. She didn't know that someone else was listening, someone who would change everything. The next morning, the principal called Amara to the office. She feared the worst. But when she entered, she froze. Sitting there was a woman in a black suit with a warm smile. "Amara, I'm from the State Youth Orchestra," the woman said. "Your music video went viral last night. Someone recorded your classroom performance." Amara's heart skipped. Viral. Her private pain had reached the world. The woman continued, "We'd like you to perform at our next concert." Tears welled up in Amara's eyes. It was everything she'd dreamed of, a chance to be heard, to be seen. When she walked back into class later, whispers spread fast. Mrs. Clarkson turned pale. "Is it true?" she asked. Amara nodded gently. "They said I can play with them." The teacher forced a smile, but behind it was regret and fear. Her attempt to humiliate had created a rising star. The night of the concert arrived. The grand hall was filled with people. Lights shimmered, cameras flashed, and in the front row sat Mrs. Clarkson, invited by the principal to witness what she had almost destroyed. As Amara walked on stage, violin in hand, her heart pounded, not with fear, but power. She began to play a piece she composed herself, titled Unheard. Each note was a story, of struggle, of silence, of strength. The audience leaned forward, some wiping away tears. Even Mrs. Clarkson's eyes glistened, though she tried to hide it. When the final note echoed through the hall, the entire crowd rose to their feet. Thunderous applause filled the room. Amara bowed, smiling through her tears. For once, the world was clapping not just for her talent, but for her courage to rise above cruelty. The next morning, Amara returned to school. As she walked through the halls, students cheered her name. Even Mrs. Clarkson stood waiting at the door of the music room. "Amara," she said quietly, "I was wrong." Her voice trembled with humility. "Your music, it's beyond anything I've ever heard." Amara smiled softly. "Thank you, Mrs. Clarkson." There was no anger left in her, only peace. She had learned that true strength doesn't come from proving others wrong, but from staying true to yourself when the world doubts you. As she opened her violin case and began to play once more, the same room that once mocked her now listened with awe. Her melody filled the halls, a reminder that no one can silence a gifted soul.